is yours, but others use it the most. This is a riddle that stuck with me from my childhood. The answer is, of course, your name. The name that your parents carefully picked out for you even before you were born. The one written on your ID, your answer to the question, who are you? Your identity, your social tag, if you will. Since birth, you have been conditioned to respond to this random sequence of sounds, and now somebody calling your name across a crowded room seems to cut through all other noise. Your name is your right, as declared by the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, and it is also one of the few concepts that transcend culture. As anthropologists have not yet found a single society, past or present, that does not know the concept of personal names in one form or another. Now, in our current society, naming conventions seem straightforward to us. An arbitrary given name, a surname passed down from the parents, and perhaps a middle name to add some flair. Your name, well, in some countries like Denmark, there is a list of approved names that parents can choose from for a child, while in other countries with more lenient regulations, the only limits are the length and the set of characters. But even in these countries, like USA or Australia, can you name your child Jesus Christ, Adolf Hitler, Nutella, or Santa Claus? Naming laws are intended to protect the interests of the child, and in its clear why names such as these are banned. They carry way too strong of a connotation. It can affect the child's sense of self or make it a subject of bullying. Let's take a look outside of the Western world for a second. In some Aboriginal societies, for example, names are considered highly personal and only used in discretion. So in practice, people are referred to by other characteristics, like the man lying by the river, which is sufficient for such isolated communities. Now, traditional Chinese names consist of 3 characters. One for the family name and 2 for the given name. Now, one of the characters in the given name is shared among all the members of a generation in a particular family. Now, the sequence of these characters is given in the so-called generational form. Now, this is an example of This is an example of such a generational form, and if your curious is talking about the glory and the virtues of your family. Now, imagine this form belongs to your family, and your generation corresponds to this character, meaning Dao, meaning white. Then you, your siblings, and your cousins would all share a surname, in this case Su, and a middle generation name, in this case Dao. These generational names can be used to track the origins of families or help to recreate lineage trees. Another difference between naming cultures around the world is the order in which we are used to writing our names. In the West, this is clear from the terms we use. We call our family names last and our given names first. There is an alternative, of course. Traditional Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and interestingly enough, Hungarian names are written in the so-called Eastern name order. So a last name followed by a first name. Vietnamese names generally also follow these Eastern traditions, but people are referred to primarily by their given name, because up to 39% of the population shares the same last name, Wen. Now, have you ever thought that a name particularly suits somebody? Well, this is a question that a 2017 study looked at. They investigated whether the stereotypes associated with our names somehow manifest in our faces. The study went something like this. Yeah. What do you think this person's name is? I'll give you a second to think about it. On three, just all say the name you're thinking of, okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay. I have 11 good answers. The correct one is actually Dan. And this way, the researchers, also accounting for name frequency, age, and ethnicity, found that participants were able to assign names to strangers with accuracy significantly higher than chance. This is called the base name effect, or also called the Dorian-Gray effect. And the study was very replicated in France and Israel, which showed that the success rate of the name guessers depended on whether the targets were from the same country as themselves. Now, this example is taken from the original study, which was conducted in the US, which explains why it doesn't work all that well on a European audience. Notably, the effect disappears as well if the person in the picture has a highly unusual name or exclusively uses a nickname. Now, how is this possible in the first place? Well, the explanation behind the facing effect is that as a member of society, you have some sort of a preconceived notion of what a Dan looks like. Now, a Dan will be aware of these societal expectations as well, if only subconsciously, and instinctively try to conform to them by changing their appearance. One of the facial features that one can alter the most significantly on their own is one's hairstyle. Now, when the same study was repeated, but the face is cut out, participants were still able to match the hair to a name. Now, this is just further evidence that for the theory that the leading mechanism behind the Dorian-Gray effect is that people through lived experience learn sort of what characteristics their names are generally associated with, and then become kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy through changing their physical looks as well as their mannerism accordingly. Later, it was found that computers can do just the same. When 100,000 faces were fed into a learning algorithm, it could eventually not only correctly assign names to faces, but it also produced heat maps that showed the most dominant features associated with each studied name. From this, we could also learn that the most important facial structures for the Dorian-Gray effect are located around the eyes and the mouth. In other words, in areas associated with facial expressions. So the people not only change their appearance, but also their mannerism. Now, apart from this, your name can also affect your decision making. Believe it or not, you all have a tendency to prefer things, people, products, and brands They contain the letters from your own name, and especially your initials. This is called the name letter effect, and it goes beyond these superficial preferences. It can affect your choice of romantic partners, place for living, career choices, and even how you vote. Now, these are all extremely important decisions, all affected by something so arbitrary as your name. Let's take our dad from before as an example. Now, the research suggests that statistically, he would be more likely to marry a Danielle and like Doritos and want to visit Denmark. Psychologists attribute the name letter effect to the self-centeredness that is almost innate in human nature. Like it or not, we have a tendency to prefer things and people with characteristics similar to our own in a better light than others. In this case, with a similar sounding name. So please, unless you do not mind being influenced by your tendencies, either towards fitting in to societal expectations or towards egoism, keep in mind the power that names hold when picking one for your child, getting your haircut, or choosing a candidate's name on the ballot. Thank you.